Tav X Hebrews, purity and becoming one. First thing I want you to do is to hit the like button on your way in the door and subscribe to the channel if you're not already. This is a pre-recorded video, but I'm letting this video air as a premiere, so it's almost like it's live. Almost. Okay? I'm obviously at this moment right now, I knew that I was going to be busy. So I'm sure I'll probably be listening in on this premiere, but I won't have a chance to type back or say anything like that. But I'll be listening, and I'm with y'all in spirit. That's what it's about. It's about our energy. It's about your energy, my energy. It's about the ability to move your energy, to feel your energy, to focus your energy. Casting lots. Read it with me. Ancient Hebrew divination magic. I thought they said all magic was evil. Hit the like button on your way in the door. And since this is kinda like a live, kinda, we're gonna give it a few minutes to see if any brews make it up in here before we start reading. We're gonna read this whole book, okay? Fam, I have had one magical week. This week has been a doozy. All the way from Monday, all the way up to Friday, late afternoon, early evening, nighttime, whatever it is time you seeing this. I'm gonna let this video out of the gate on Friday evening. That's when we usually go live. But like I said, family, I'm gonna be very busy. I'm busy right now. As you're watching this, I'm on the move right now. Like I said, this is a pre-recorded video, but since it's like a live, giving it a chance for some of the brews to make it up in here. And although I will be listening, I'm not going to be able to type back and interact with y'all. But since I am your brother, Mr. Real Talk, and this is your go-to YouTube channel for brotherhood, sisterhood, and an attempt at righteousness, I cannot leave y'all hanging on Friday evening when we usually go live. I can't do it. I won't do it. I never let you down, even if I could. Yeah, that's how I get down. I can't let y'all down. Even if I could. I ain't gonna leave y'all hanging out there on a Friday evening like that. And I know that we need to eat. All of us need to eat. So we eating tonight, this evening. Whatever time it is, wherever you at. I want you to understand, for the last 2,000 years, a little more than 2,000 years, the world has been under siege by religion. And all religions come under the Roman Catholic Church, every one of them. And JC or Yeshua or Christ, whatever you want to call him, the whole world has came under their magic for the last 2,000 years, a little more than 2,000 years to be exact. Hosea 6:2 ring a bell? Hosea 6:2. Does that ring a bell, family? And after 2 days, he will revive us. I'm paraphrasing. Go read it. Hosea 6:2. After 2 days, he will revive us. And on the third day, he shall raise us up and we shall live in his sight. That third day could pop off any day. You do know that, right? That's why we're trying to prepare. We have been awakened now. We haven't risen up and living in his sight yet. That's going to happen on the third day. But after 2 days, the prophecy is after 2 days, he'll raise us up. It's been more than 2 days. Psalms 90:4 lets you know that 1,000 years is like a day to the Most High. And Christianity has been ruling a little more than 2 days, a little more than 2,000 years. And now the jig is up. Hosea 6:2 is all over. Everything comes crashing down from now on out, fam. And we're getting back to the old ways. We don't care who likes it. We don't care who ridicules us. We don't care who calls us, you're doing magic, sorcery, evil, Keep on talking with your Roman Catholic talking points. The whole time, anybody who wants to talk like that, this is what I'll ask you. And I'm going to keep on asking everybody who wants to talk like that. I'm going to ask y'all this until you answer the question. How did Uncle Moses turn his staff into a snake? It wasn't magic, He did it through the power of the Most High. Who don't know that? I said, how did he do it? Tell me what happened. Walk me through. You actually want us to believe he just walked in, didn't say nothing, didn't do nothing, didn't gesture, posture in any way, just threw his stick down on the ground, just looked at it, and it just turned into a snake. Please. Please. How did he do it? Not one of you religious people or church people or whatever, not one of you can answer that question. All you can say is the same thing that the Catholics told you to say. It was the power of God. Like we don't know that. All power comes from God. I said, how did he do it? What did he do? When he came into the courts of Pharaoh with his staff, I want to know, walk me through it. What did he do? Or are you just going to keep on repeating what the Catholics told you to? It was the power of God. He did it with God's power. How did he do it with God's power? How? What did he do? What did he say? How did he move? How did he gesture? Or are you too proud to say you don't know? And guess what? Most of you don't want to know. You're afraid to know. Because the church told you it's wicked. No, don't look into it. No, he did it through God's power. That's it. That's all. And you expect me to listen to what the church is pushing? I have been decolonized. Something that most of our people don't know nothing about. You better decolonize your brain and your spirit, Hebrew. And stop letting these demons tell you what you can and what you can't read. So I'm going to ask you again. How did Uncle Moses turn his staff into a snake? How did he do it? And don't give me the generic Catholic answer. It was God's power. A second grader knows that. I said, how? But you know why all you keep saying is, it was God's power? Because you're too afraid and you're too prideful to say, I don't know how he did that, brother. You're too prideful to say that. And because you won't admit that you don't know how he did it, you'll just say, it was the power of God, brother. And you'll try to make me out to be evil for trying to figure out just how he did it. Because you're afraid. And you're a good little Catholic. I am not a Catholic. I don't give a damn about Roman Catholicism. I don't care nothing about none of these churches or none of their teachings or none of their idols, blasphemous, wicked, blood-drinking, blood-sucking gods. Particularly JC, the God of the Christian church, the God of the vampire cult. But you got the nerve to look at me and tell me that I'm doing witchcraft? You cannot make this up, y'all. And the nations, even some of our own people, they are so afraid of us going into stuff like this. And we all know why they're afraid of it. Because we get back to the old ways. You see what that says? Casting lots. Ancient Hebrew divination magic. This is what Joshua was doing. And y'all can try to duck that if you want to. You can try to sugarcoat that if you want to. That's what Joshua was doing, family. Like it or not. And I know a lot of you can't stand that. Even though it's right there in the scriptures that Joshua was doing that. Hit that like button on your way in the door, fam. Hit that like button. And we getting ready to get started. It's always a pleasure to be here with y'all. Like I said, even though I'm not going to be able to type and chop it up and interact with y'all that way, I'm with y'all in spirit, and I will be listening. I'm listening right now. As you guys and gals are listening, so am I. I'm in here with y'all. Let me see where we at. Give me 1 second, Hebrew. Give me 1 second. Yeah. And y'all know what? All praises to the Most High God. He's been giving us so much revelation. So much revelation the Most High God has given us. These last 30 days been amazing. These last 2 weeks, even more amazing. Figuring out that we should be singing a whole lot more the Psalms. And when we sing those Psalms, it literally unlocks supernatural power. Magic. That's what it is. You let the church make you think that magic is a bad word. Read to me in the Old Testament where it says, thou shalt not talk about magic, thou shalt not do righteous magic. Should you not do witchcraft and stuff? Any ceremonies that's going to be done in the name of another God, you shouldn't be doing it. But ceremonies that you're going to be doing in the face and in front and in the name of Yahweh, there's no way that can be evil. You're just afraid. And many of our enemies are angry that we are no longer afraid because they know what's going to be coming soon. Once we figure stuff like this out, y'all know what's going to happen. Do you know what that's going to do? Is there anybody out there with the testicular fortitude to drop it in the comment section? What's going to happen once we really, truly, genuinely figure this kind of stuff out? Is there anybody out there with the testicular fortitude that's not afraid to say what's going to happen? And before we read, we're going to start chapter 2. I don't know how much we're going to read because I'm not going to rush this. This is very important. I want you to think about this. But first, listen to this for all you naysayers. And we're going to read it in a few different translations. All right? Let me see. Give me 1 second. Joshua 18:10 in the Good News translation. Joshua drew lots to consult Yahweh for them and assign each of the remaining tribes of Israel a certain part of the land. Hold up, Ak. Hold up, Ak. It's no way, Ak. That's wicked, Ak. Casting lots is wicked. What did it say? Joshua drew lots to consult Yahweh for them. Who was he consulting? Yahweh. No. He was consulting Lucifer. Who was he consulting? Joshua drew lots to consult Yahweh for them. No, bruh. He was consulting JC or Yeshua. Bahashem Yahweh. Who was he consulting? So Joshua drew lots for them. I'm sorry. Joshua drew lots to consult Yahweh for them. Do you see this? Joshua did ancient Hebrew divination magic to consult Yahweh. Y'all ain't ready for this. Y'all are not ready for this. Planet Earth ain't ready for this. But we giving it to them anyway. What a time to be alive, y'all. You can get mad if you want to. In the National Standard Version, Joshua threw lots in Shiloh in Yahweh's presence and divided the land accordingly among the Israelis. We know that's a hijack. They wouldn't know Israelis back then. The Israelites according to their divisions. Y'all see this? Look at this. Give me 1 second. New International Version. Joshua then cast lots for them in Shiloh in the presence of Yahweh. And there he distributed the land to the Israelites, not Israelis, Israelites, according to their tribal divisions. Israelis don't have no tribes. Okay? Look at this. New Living Translation. And there at Shiloh, Joshua casted sacred lots in the presence of Yahweh to determine which tribe should have each section. Do y'all see that? So if the other nations casting these lots before their God in the name of their God, that would be unholy lots, wicked lots, evil magic. But when you do it in the presence of Yahweh in his name before him, then it becomes sacred lots, sacred magic, righteous magic, evil magic. Do you see this? I'm not going to back off of this. And I know that somebody out there right now, you're getting very pissed off. Not because I'm lying, because what I'm saying is true. And you are so angry that we are finally starting to see this. Somebody's very upset right about now. And you're scratching your head saying, how the hell did they figure this out? Holy lots. Holy magic. Do you see this? The other nations were casting lots too. We read about that in chapter 1. They do their lots in their own way before their God in the name of their gods. Y'all see that? Casting lots is casting lots. It depends on in what name and who you're doing it to, which makes it good or evil. Same thing with magic. If you're doing any kind of supernatural forces and in the name of some worship of some other deity's name, then yes, now you're evil. But when you do those same things in the presence of Yahweh in his name, now that same thing is still magic, but it's righteous now. You see that? I know somebody out there sees it. The question is, are you brave enough to admit that? Not to me, to yourself. Are you ready to take that hurdle? Are you ready to take that next jump, Hebrew? I hope you are. And if you are, I want you to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Can't make none of this up, y'all. Now let's go and do a little bit of reading. Now that we've shut all the mouths of the naysayers out here, because I know people like to talk their little trash. Oh, This is wicked, I told you Mr. Real Talk was wicked. Look at him. Look at him, doing witchcraft, talking about magic. Nigga, Joshua was doing magic. And we done proved it already. We've proven this. We've proven it. Sorry for you, you can't see it. Sorry for you, you don't want to grow no more. Sorry for you, all you want to say is, he did it through God's power. Nothing else to see here. You ain't nothing but a Catholic. And you're still colonized. I told you, I have decolonized myself. Believe it or not. Now, turn with me, my Hebraic ones. You know what? I'm sorry. What am I thinking, y'all? Y'all don't have this. Most people don't have this. That's why I'm on here reading it to y'all, because I do. Chapter 2. Divination via lot casting in antiquity. Chapter 2. Listen up, okay? Like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Listen up. The Hebrew tribes were not the only tribal people who practiced lot divination. Do y'all see that? Do y'all see that? Long before writing, nomads and semi-nomads, as well as sedentary tribes across the globe, used tools of divination to establish a connection to powers, God forms, or spirits as they understood them. Their diviners, who sometimes were their tribal spiritual specialists, connected to the metaphysical world to find answers or guidance for their communities. A wide variety of divination devices were and are used, usually made from materials at hand. For example, animal bones such as yak knuckles among Siberian tribes, camel bones among Middle Eastern peoples, or shells among coastal tribes around the world. Meanwhile, the Scandinavian and Germanic people drew runes for divination, among other purposes. Do y'all hear that? Divination also flourished in other so-called more advanced ancient civilizations, such as in ancient Mesopotamia. First in Sumer, then in Akkad, and later in Babylon. Divinatory priests observed the stars and planets and developed a vast literature of astrological divinations and omens to aid magical healing. Listen to this again. Divination also flourished in other so-called more advanced ancient civilizations, such as in ancient Mesopotamia, first in Sumer, then in Akkad, and later in Babylon. Divinatory priests observed the stars and planets and developed a vast literature of astrological divinations and omens to aid magical healing. That means that they were watching the stars and the moon, and they knew, based on what time the stars and the moon, where they were, they knew better times to do certain rituals, to do certain divination. This is amazing, y'all. This was recorded in cuneiform script on clay tablets, sometimes baked so as to achieve a measure of permanency. If thought sufficiently important, these tablets have survived to our days, and there are so many of them that archaeologists are still translating them. The Etruscans in Italy were famous and respected for their extensive divinatory literature, from star observations to observations and interpretations of the livers of sacrificed animals to the flight of birds, all recorded in the Sibylline books, now lost, that were studied by the Romans. Go figure. The Romans studied them, and after the Romans studied them, somehow they became lost. Do y'all see that? Y'all know what happened. Them things are not lost. The Romans stole them, just like they always do. I don't know who they think they fooling, y'all. The Emperor Claudius was said to have translated them from the Etruscan, but his translations have unfortunately vanished too. That's a lie. The Greek temple of Apollo in Delphi was presided over by a seeress known as the Pythoness. Nobles and envoys of kings from everywhere in the Mediterranean world traveled all the way there to ask questions and get answers. The divinatory practices mentioned above are not consigned to the graveyard of history. However, people in traditional societies still use them. Y'all see that? In the West, there is a resurgence due to neo-pagan movements, and we AMHA use them today. What AMHA is, hold up. AMHA, I thought it, hold up, what is that? You know what? I got to find out what that means. That must have something to do with the committee of people who put this book together, family. Maybe, yeah. The ancient Hebrews used lots for divination. See, this is the part that we care about, where we come in at. The ancient Hebrews used lots for divination is a matter of written record. Primarily the Hebrew Bible. Do you see this? It's telling you it's a fact that the ancient Hebrews was doing divination. You know divination is magic, right? And it's written right in your Old Testament. This is unbelievable. The ancient Hebrews used lots for divination. Is a matter of written record, primarily the Hebrew Bible. Some examples are offered in chapter 3 as wandering tribes. They too would have used materials that are easy to come by: stones, wood, broken kitchen pottery, for example. It is of course possible that when the Hebrews settled down and the traditional cult was eventually centralized and limited to the temple in Jerusalem, the lots used by the high priest might have been fancier, made perhaps of more valuable materials such as glass or stone, considered to be inherently pure, or some precious stones, or even bronze, silver, or gold. The practice of lot casting continued with variations from Bronze Age nomadic times, 3300 to 1200 BCE, to well into the 2nd century of the Common Era. At a minimum, a span of at least 3,000 years. Our earliest Hebrew documentations is in the Bible stories about the migrating Hebrew tribes. Y'all see this? That's how long we've been doing divination and magic. Much later on, the ancient fortification of Masada, 66 CE, the Hebrew insurgents used lots made of pottery shards. The latest use of Hebrew lots before they were revived in modern days, sometime around the mid-1800s, is recorded by the historian Josephus Flavius, a Jewish nobleman and military commander born in 37 CE who turned his coat and joined the Romans. Many groups of alternative spirituality claim that their practices and beliefs go back millennia, even as far as Neolithic times, continuing in an unbroken line. The practice of lot use has solid ancient roots, but I make no such unbroken line claims. We can truthfully connect lot casting for divination to the ancient Hebrew tribes. That is why I went out and I got this. Not because I'm going off, as they would like to say. A lot of y'all have not even done your homework because you're too afraid. We ain't got no time to be afraid over here, nor do we have any reason to. We serve Yahweh and Him alone. There's nothing for us to be afraid of. We're not idolaters. We're not going to break the Most High's laws. Everything that we're going to do in the presence of Yahweh, in His name. Just like Joshua and Moses and Elijah and all the other ancient Hebrews did when they did ancient Hebrew divination. We can truthfully connect lot casting for divination to the ancient Hebrew tribes, as this is documented in the Hebrew Bible. But over the millennia, rituals and magic evolved. Today, in using lots, we blend what we know from ancient literature with what modern scholarship, including archaeology, can tell us about the culture, rituals, and customs of our ancient ancestors. This aids us in better understanding Lot messages, since they are rooted in the culture from which they grew. As I mentioned in the introductions, it may come as a surprise to many that the ancient Hebrews did not start out as monotheists. Modern scholars will tell you that the ancient Hebrew belief system was very close to those of the Canaanites. The Hebrews and Canaanites were so closely related culturally, in fact, that the Hebrew language, it seems today, as a Canaanite dialect. Y'all see that? Because the ancient Hebrew semi-nomads were illiterate. And because according to scholars, in Israel, even by the 6th century BCE, barely 2 to 3% of people could both read and write. Lots at that time could not have consisted of the entire Hebrew alphabet that we use today. I don't know if I buy that part about most of the Hebrews being illiterate. I don't buy that, y'all. To start with, to tell the lots apart and read their meanings, each individual lot must have had a different shape or color. Perhaps a little later, each began to have some distinctive marks on them. Later still came sketches to signify objects of everyday use, thus serving the purpose of a people who mostly could not read. I'm not buying that. We know that Hebrew writing developed from the stylized pictures that eventually morphed into the Hebrew alphabet. An example is Aleph, which originally was the design of a bull's head. It then became stylized and rotated 90 degrees. All Hebrew letters did over time, and nobody really knows why. Eventually, the scratched outline of a bull's head became the letter Aleph that we see today. The Hebrew alphabet consists of 22 letters. We use all these when lot casting. 5 of the 22 letters, though, Mem, Nun, Tasdik, P, and Kaf, have a different form when they occur at the end of a word. For ease of use, we omit these final forms. Lots we use today employ modern Hebrew script known as square script because most letters fit into a square, rather than the ancient, archaic fonts that few people can now read. Okay? Look, that was chapter 2 of casting lots, okay? That's all we're going to do for this evening. But most high willing, we will come back on tomorrow, which will be Saturday, and we will go to chapter 4. I'm sorry. We will be going to chapter 3, which is divination and lot casting in ancient Hebrew literature. We're going to get deeper into where we come in at. Most high willing, on tomorrow, on Saturday, we will do that. Family, I don't want you to be afraid of this. There's no need for you to be afraid of that. Our forefathers were using divination. That's what lot casting is. Joshua was talking to the Most High with this. Excuse me. Excuse me. Woo. Joshua was connecting to the Most High with this. But some way they're going to tell you and me that it's evil if you and me do this. But it wasn't evil when Joshua did it and all the other ancient Hebrews. But somehow when you or me do it, now it's evil. I'm not buying that and I ain't falling for it. Okay? This week right here, dare I say, has been a very magical week. This was a magic-filled week right off the bat. Monday morning, I remember like it was yesterday. First day of this week, of the slave week anyway. Monday morning, out there on the highway, I thought I was going to die out there. Car started shaking vigorously. Seeing sparks, seeing fire. Wondering or not whether that was coming from up under the hood. Is this car getting ready to blow up? Am I getting ready to be blown to smithereens? I immediately started doing Psalm magic, chanting and singing Psalms 23 and 1. Once I pulled over on the shoulder, hopped out, trying to diagnose the situation, I said, you know what? I don't know how I'm going to make it through this. Obviously, I got to change. Before I even realized that the tire was destroyed and shredded, I had to figure out what the problem was, because at this point, I still don't even know what the problem is, right? I had to back away from the vehicle for a while to let things cool off to make sure I don't get blown to smithereens. And as I started chanting, right, once I was able to actually see what was going on, because I had to keep on peeking out from the side of the highway. I'm on the highway, y'all. Right there at the edge of the shoulder. Cars and trucks are whizzing past me at an incredible speed. So I couldn't even step out to see what was wrong with the vehicle. By the time I was able to actually step out and see what it was, the tire was totally shredded and destroyed. Then I said, wow, now I got to change this tire out here on this terrible, dangerous highway. I said, here we go. I started chanting and singing Psalms 23 and 1. Within 10 to 15 seconds, some stranger just started backing up on the highway. A Spanish dude named Ernest. I talked about it the other day. Spanish dude named Ernest hopped out, and basically he came out here with power tools in hand, ready to go. And I didn't have to lift a glove. I didn't lift a finger. All I did was basically just stand there and watch this total stranger spring into action. For me, a total stranger. And this dude was Spanish. I'm not Spanish. This dude, I could tell he barely speaks English, but he spoke enough. Hey, you okay? Before I could even answer him, he saw what was going on. He hopped out immediately, power tools, and went to work. I still can't believe it. That's how I started my week off, with Psalm magic on the side of the road, doing Psalm magic, summon a total stranger in 10 to 15 seconds and be singing and chanting. Came out there on the dangerous highways and byways. He didn't hesitate at all. He did it everything. He said he was coming. He said he was going to help me. He said he was going to help me, not do everything for me. I literally did nothing. And the stranger did everything. I didn't lift a finger. All I did was do Psalm magic. I did divination by singing and chanting psalms. Those psalms are magical scripts. Some of them are even spells. Magic is good and evil. Just like the evil got spells, the magic on the righteous side got spells too. Divination, incantations. What do you think psalm magic is? What do you think it is when King David would sing those psalms and play on the harp? That was divination. That's how he can cast out evil spirits from King Saul, with ancient Hebrew divination, y'all. Stop being scared and wake up. This is not wicked. Like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Most High willing, I will see you guys and gals tomorrow. Peace, family. I'm out.